Welcome to The Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back to my podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. So I got another email that I'm going to cover, and this one was asking about what is the difference between brand management and public relations. Okay, so first things first, you guys know who have been listening, or if this is your first time tuning in, thank you very much. Let me know how you found us. Okay, so for the folks who are familiar, my company, Onyx Queen Media, we do branding and we also do marketing, and we rope in public relations to all of this. All of these things work hand in hand together. Now, I know I've spoken a lot about branding on this podcast because that's the main function of my company. I've also talked about marketing. I've also talked about public relations, but I don't think that I have compared these two things together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with branding first. Okay. Branding is one of the things within marketing that brand management begins with an analysis on how a brand is currently perceived in the market. So let me break that piece down. Branding is the management of a brand is the analysis on how a brand is perceived in their market. All right. So what that means is if you have a brand, whether it's products, all right, maybe it's hair products, or you have services, how does your public, your market, the segment of the market that you sell to, the people who would likely be open to your products, the people who would likely be open to your services, how do they view your business, right? So branding, or we could call it brand management specifically, is us analyzing that. So we are looking at that to see what is it that people think about your brand. Do people even know your brand? Do people even know you exist? Some people will say, wow, I didn't know that you even existed. How many times have you walked into a store on occasion and you say, hey, how long have you guys been here? I didn't know that you guys were here. So what that business should do, especially a brick and mortar physical business, if you have a lot of people coming into your store saying, hey, I did not know you guys were here, this is good to know. That means that somewhere along the line, you need to be marketing your business, because marketing are the tools that you actually use, right, to put your business out there. All right. So in marketing, brand management begins with an analysis on how your brand is being perceived in the market, and it proceeds to plan how that brand should be perceived if it is to achieve its objectives and continue with ensuring that the brand is perceived as planned and secures its objectives. So that's just a fancy way of saying brand management is going to take your brand and make sure that the market knows about it. All right. We're going to analyze how the market knows about it. We're going to make sure the market knows about it. We're going to put the plan together for the market to know who you are or what you provide. Okay. So that is brand management. Now, I recently had this conversation with a client who's not currently a public relations client. I do other services for them, but the public relations piece is this. Public relations is the practice of managing and disseminating information from an individual or an organization to the public in order to affect their public perception, right? Public relations and publicity differ in that PR is controlled internally, whereas publicity is not controlled and contributed by external parties. That's just a fancy schmancy way of saying we are going to take said brand. Okay, so as the PR team, PR folk, however you want to look at it, we're going to take your brand and we are going to make sure that the public sees your brand as very positive. We're going to make sure that the perception of your brand is A1, top of the line, right? Now, you have probably heard public relations spin, or you may have heard Spin Doctors. I know everybody knows that was a music group back in the day, but no, we're not talking about the music group. We're talking about public relations, has been known as spin doctors, people who spin stories. But let me just say this. For the public relations piece, and I've done public relations and everything for many clients over the years, I am not a person of fake hype, and I let clients know that you're not hiring us to do publicity for you or do public relations for you and be in the business of that for you with fake hype. Okay, I don't want anybody coming to me asking me for the fake hype, because it's not going to happen. Meaning, just putting all this hype around a brand that really doesn't live up to its standards. No, I'm going to need to know that your brand is going to actually fulfill what it is that you say you're going to do, so that we can build up the hype around your brand and it actually is true and it makes sense. All right. Now, you do have some public relations folks who it's a lot of buzz and then it's a lot of fizzle on the back end, because what was all the hype for it? It really wasn't that good. I tend to take on products or people that have services that truly are fulfilling what it is they say they're going to do. So if you are just going to be like the one-hit wonder thing or whatever the case may be, I'm really not interested in those types of brands, because I like to create longevity between the relationship between Onyx Queen Media and its clients, right? So public relations is the management of the information that's put out there. So let's say a particular we'll say public figure gets into some sort of trouble. Maybe they have like a DUI or something like that. The public relations team, their job is to make sure that that person's reputation gets as little hits as possible as far as negative. Their job is to make sure that that person's brand, right? Because their brand is, individuals have as a person, they're a brand. To make sure that their public persona doesn't take a major hit and is still seen as positive. Now, in so much with that, I don't want you to think that we are going to clean up a mess for you. What you need to do in my business is you really need to be reflective. You really need to be sorry for what it is that you have done. You really need to clean up your situation. We will help get the word out that you're working to clean up your situation, but we're not going to do a fake, lie or whatever for you. That's just not going to happen. And I know a lot of public relations folks do that. But I would rather you be honest and make a statement yourself, not just me putting out a statement. I've had to put out some statements for some people, okay? I've been a part of some PR teams for some pretty disastrous situations that you have seen in the news. And I'm telling you, the way that we had to really sit down and how are we going to talk about this? How are we going to turn this person's fate around, because the public is going to lose complete trust in this particular individual or business or whatever it is that I have covered in the past. So our job is to make sure that you get as little collateral damage as possible, right? But for me personally, within my business, I don't want to do it through tactics of trying to beguile the public and all of that. That's not something that I get down with at all. That's not the way to do it. I think the best way to do it sometimes is just to sit down with your audience and do a video. Do a video and explain the situation and just be honest. Because at the end of the day, you're human. I'm human. We're all human, and we make mistakes. And the thing about public figures, especially, or brands who are well known, is that you constantly are under a microscope, and that's going to happen. So you have to be more conscious of how you walk around, because you're not Joe Schmo on the street. People know you as, XYZ big brand. People know you as, XYZ actor or actress, so you definitely have a bullseye on you at all times. So you have to be more, you have to be more conscious of how you move, how you move around. I'm not saying that people can't have fun, but that one picture with the alcohol in your hand, knowing that you've had a drinking problem for the past 20 years is not going to go over well with your public. You know what I'm saying? So rather than try to sweep that under the rug, get on video and have a conversation like, this is something I'm dealing with. And maybe you could even garner support from your public, from your market, the people who you serve, the people who may be your fans. I would rather you come at it from that perspective than us trying to sweep it under the rug that, you were involved in some illicit, dealings. So that's just my personal thing. I know there's plenty of public relations folks who don't agree with that, but that's fine. We can agree to disagree. But so just to go over one more time, brand management is the analysis of how your brand is moving in the market, right? And it formulates a plan of not only analyzing how you move in the market, but it also puts together a plan of how you should move through the market, right? And then public relations is the practice of managing that information. So once we plan how you're going to move in the market, then public relations actually puts that plan into action, right? And they manage that plan. So they make sure to get you press. They make sure that you are being interviewed on podcasts and, all these different things to make sure that you're out there in a positive light. Okay, so that's kind of like my more detailed breakdown of the two. So that's brand management and public relations. All right, you guys, keep the questions coming. You can email me hello@onyxqueenmedia.com. Find me on social media. Please click like, please share. All of that. We can now, people know now, right? We can link through Instagram stories. You don't have to have 10,000 followers anymore. So it's amazing. You can now put links in your stories. So definitely share my podcast out there. The listenership is definitely growing daily, and I greatly appreciate it. So follow me on social media at Onyx Queen Media. My most active social is Instagram. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYX HONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.